guys, welcome to my channel. Welcome to DIY Art Plus. So today we're gonna paint. So I always like to mention this is if you also want to paint with me, you can also paint because I'm gonna show you step by step on my this pad here. So what I'm painting on is this one here. So as you can see, I painted like other paintings here. I also paint like mixed media painting. So this is it says mixed media here. Now this one is about it's actually 90 lab paper. So it's like a really thick paper. So I'm gonna paint on this one today because I don't have my canvases. So I'm gonna paint on this one, and again you can also paint on a piece of paper like this. If you are using watercolor, you can also use a watercolor paper. If you are using acrylic paint, you can either paint on this mixed media pad or on a canvas. Alright, so let's start painting. So first, let me show you, these are the color I'm gonna be using. This is acrylic paint again. It's white, purple, black, and blue. For now, this is all the colors I'm gonna use. I might change my mind later. I don't know. Okay, so make sure you grab a cup of water and some brushes, whatever you have available. Okay, so and you're also gonna need a pencil for this part, and this is round brush. It's like a round synthetic bristles. This is small number 0 size of brush, and this is very optional. I don't know if I'm gonna use this for now, but it's like a natural bristles. Okay, so first I'm gonna draw a spooky house. Okay, so for that I'm gonna use my pencil, and again it doesn't has to be same as I'm doing here. You can change the size of your house or make it, make it bigger or smaller, wider. I don't know, it's up to you. This is your painting, okay? You are doing this just for fun, so don't think a lot and just go for it. Okay, so now I'm gonna add some trees on the side, and then I'm gonna add my spooky house in the middle here. So I'm just gonna draw with the pencil. If you don't like any line, just ignore your pencil line, or you can erase your pencil line, because we're gonna paint with the acrylic paint today. So whatever color you add on top, you're not gonna see your pencil line, if that makes sense. Okay, so now I'm just gonna plan like this is bottom is gonna be the ground area, and I'm gonna add a house maybe from here. I'm just trying to make it nice and lighter. So now you can also watch me first if you want to get more idea what I'm really doing here. So okay, so my first side of the house is gonna come right here. So I'm just gonna make it maybe at a little curve line like that here, and a big roof. I need a new pencil, I guess. Okay, so a roof for this part is gonna come right here. Okay, so again, this is the roof. Okay, now I'm gonna add other side. So again, it's gonna come maybe right here. See, I don't like that line. I'm just gonna, erase that, or you can just ignore it. I'm just gonna add another line next to that. So I don't want you to get confused, so I'm gonna erase my line. Better. Okay, so again, another roof for this part. Okay, it doesn't have to be perfect. Remember, it's spooky house, okay? Okay, so the next one, maybe I want to add right here, a little small one. And last one maybe right here. Okay, so it looks like kind of a little spooky, right? I don't know. We'll see when we add all of these colors, and you'll see. Okay, so I want to add the windows, I mean the main door, maybe right here in the middle, maybe right here. It's okay. So just gonna add some lines like that, and also maybe a big window here. Big one maybe right here. Remember, it doesn't have to be perfect, okay? Because it's a spooky house. Maybe I want to add a little chimney. Maybe here. A little window up here. Big window right here. Okay, now we can start painting. Alright, so now this is the outline. Now, if you really like your house, make it, if you don't really have to make it darker, to be honest, but you can if you like to. So I'm just gonna make more darker on the edges of this house. So just going over one more time on these edges because I like the shape. Now if you don't like again any line, you can use your eraser, erase your line, or just leave it and you can hide it with your paint. Okay, now let's start painting. Okay, so now we're done with the pencil. What I'm gonna do is grab my big round brush. Before I take any paint, I'm just gonna dip it in my water here. Tap extra water, grab maybe a couple of paper towels. I'm just gonna use this brown paper I have because... Okay, so now what my plan is to start with the middle and then work my way out. Okay, so I'm gonna grab some white paint and some purple paint. Okay, and then I'm gonna make it kind of a little lighter purple. Okay, so first I'm just gonna take a little water, take a little white, putting on side of my plate, and then tiny bit of purple, not too much, just maybe teeny tiny little. Mix. Do you see how light it is? It's hard to see, I know. So I'm gonna make it slightly more darker just for you guys, okay? But make it as light as you can. Now I'm gonna use this color and make a nice big circle. Okay, so my circle I'm gonna make is maybe right here. Now you can paint over your house. Don't worry, you still be able to see your pencil line, okay? Whatever line you make it darker. So I'm gonna make a nice big circle over my house. Don't be scared, just go for it, okay? And I'm just gonna fill everything inside using that same color. If you are using, if you are painting on a canvas, make sure you don't take too much of water, just maybe a little, okay? Now I'm just gonna take just a plain white, and then I'm just gonna fill everything inside with just the white. So I didn't clean my brush. I just apply a little white in the middle. All right, now into this same mixture, I'm just gonna take a little bit more white and a little bit more purple, mix it all together. This is gonna be slightly a little bit more darker than the last time, okay? Now I'm just gonna make my circle. So now do you see my paper is soaking a lot of water, so that's why I have to use some water. But if you are painting on a canvas, you don't have to take any water, or maybe just a little water. Okay, I'm just gonna go around. You can also go middle of your this white area. Okay, now from this point I'm not gonna mix any color on my paper plate. I'm just gonna show you very easy way. This is what I like to do even when I paint on a canvas. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a little water on my brush, tap a couple times, and then I'm gonna take a little white, okay, and then take a little purple on the other side. Now I'm just gonna apply it right around that next right around that, like, you know, around that circle, I mean. So every time you take some paint, you're gonna get all of these kind of streaks around your circle, I mean on the circle. You know what I'm saying, right? Okay, now I'm just gonna repeat one more time. Same thing. I run out of my paint, so I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna dip it in my water. I'm just gonna dip my brush in my water, and then take a little white, take a little purple, and I'm just gonna do same thing. Now it doesn't have to be like perfectly circle. It's okay if one side is, you know, as you can see, it's not perfectly circle right now. So just keep making just keep applying your color right now, and I'll show you at the end, like, you know, to if you want to make like a nice circle. So I'm just gonna keep making my circle bigger and bigger. Now you can also work on one side first and then move on to the other side if you like. It's like however you are comfortable with. I just like to go around. Just makes it more easier for me. Dip it in your dip your brush in your water. Take a little white, take a little purple. Go around. Now the bigger brush you use, it's gonna be so much quicker, but I am just using my round brush today. But if you are painting on a bigger canvas or bigger surface, you can also use a bigger brush or maybe a wider brush, so something like this. So once you start, you're gonna get more idea. And if you're painting with your friends, do not compare your painting with your friend, because we are all different, right? You don't have to see others painting. Everybody's different, and everybody's painting gonna turn out different. If I paint this same painting 10 times, all of this 10 painting is gonna be different, like very different. So do not compare your painting with your friends. Okay, so I'm just gonna keep going and cover my whole paper. Okay, just don't forget to take water if you're painting on a paper. And I'm not so worried about this corner, to be honest, because I'm gonna cover it anyways with some paint, some other paint. So I'm talking about bottom of this area, but I'm gonna cover everything on the top. Okay, so now before this paint dry, I also want to apply some blue and more purple. So what I'm gonna do is from this point, I'm not gonna take any more white. Maybe I can add later if I want to make any area lighter. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take some purple, just a plain purple here. Okay, and then I'm gonna work from the edges of this corner and apply just a purple. Because I want to make this area darker, so I'm just going to do the same thing on the other side. So if you are not sure if it's perfectly circle or not, but again, it doesn't have to be circle, right? It doesn't have to be perfectly circle, but if you step back a little bit, you're gonna get more idea if you want to make it more round or you like the shape. Okay, so I'm also gonna add maybe a little bit more on the bottom, just so you get more idea that it is nice and dark outside today. Okay. All right, so now I also want to show you one more thing is, now do you see how we apply some purple here, and now this area and this area looks completely different. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna dip my brush in my water one more time and then take a little purple, and I'm barely gonna touch my canvas and add maybe 4 or 5 lines on this middle of this area. Okay, so I'm not talking about this circle in the middle, the white circle. I'm talking about this area right here. I'm like barely touching my canvas and adding very light lines. So this and this area don't separate from each other. If you do this, it's gonna look like it's all kind of together. I hope that makes sense. Okay, now I'm also gonna do the same thing with blue. Now again, I'm just gonna take a little water, little bit of blue, and then start from corner. Now I don't want to apply too much of this color, just maybe some area and some lines. First I'm gonna add some lines like this everywhere I want to. Okay, and then I run out of my paint and I'm gonna go back on those lines and kind of blend it all together. Now, do you remember how we applied that purple in the middle here? I mean, on this area, I'm gonna do the same thing with blue, but just a little bit blue this time. And then I'm gonna go back and blend it all together. Now, at any point, if you feel like you apply too much of blue or too much of purple, don't worry. The best part about using acrylic paint is if you don't like anything, just add another color on top and you are done. So what I'm gonna do is just in case if you also want to add some other color on top, what I like to do is clean my brush. I barely have anything on my brush. Okay, and then I'm just gonna take the color I want and add some more white wherever you want to. So I want to add more white in the middle. Okay, and then maybe some line around this blue and purple area. Okay, now again, after you add those lines, go back and kind of, just go around 1 or 2 times, not too much. And it's gonna be slightly a little lighter. Now if you want to make it more lighter, do the same thing one more time. But I think I like this, so I'm gonna stop right here. For me, it's really hard to stop. So if you have the same issue, just leave your painting, take a little break, go eat something, go outside for a walk, and then come back and then start again. Trust me. Okay, so now I'm done with my background. I'm gonna clean my brush. If you are painting on a canvas, you can let your painting dry and then move on to the next part. I'm like, you know, working on this paper, so it's soaking all the water. So that's why I'm not too worried about it's drying. It's just almost like dry. So all right, so now what I'm gonna do is work on my house and add some black paint. So what I'm gonna do is I'm still using my same brush. If you're not comfortable using this brush, you can also use your small brush or whatever other brush you are comfortable with. Okay, so I'm just gonna take my black paint and I'm just trying to find out if I can still see my pencil line. If you don't see a pencil line, grab a pencil and, you know, go over your pencil line. I know it's going to be very light, but you still be able to see it. I'm very sure. Okay, so I'm just going to go one more time. Okay, so now I grab a little black paint. I'm just gonna start from top. I'm just doing this very quickly, but you know what? You can just take your time. And I'm just gonna fast forward this part because this is gonna take a little bit more time. Okay, so here I'm all done with this house. Now, I know that some of you may be painting on a canvas, so you might have to go on some area one more time. Okay, so now on the windows, I also have some of these other line. I don't know what it's really called, but I'm just gonna go very slow on that area and add just using tip of my brush. So what I'm gonna do is, you know, you can also practice maybe a couple times on a piece of paper. So if you press a little bit more, you're gonna get a thick line. But if you just touch your surface with just the tip of your brush, you're gonna get a line that looks like, you know, this. Now practice a couple more times, you know, what kind of line you like and how much pressure you wanna give when you add this line. So what I like to do is just use a little bit of water, putting on side of my plate here. Okay, and then I'm just gonna take like tiny bit of paint, not the whole big glob, and I'm just gonna use a thin paint. Every time when I'm working and adding any thin line, small line, I like to use a little water. Even if you are using a canvas, even if you are painting on a canvas, I recommend to, you know, make your paint slightly thinner and then add your line. It will be so much easier. So what I'm gonna do is add a line, maybe one in the middle here. Okay, so something like this. And then same thing here. So I'm not gonna go over this line, you know, 4 or 5 times, just maybe 1 or 2 times is good enough. Try to just go 1 time. Remember, it's a spooky house, okay? Nothing is perfect here. Okay, so now I think I'm done with this house. Now what I'm gonna do is add some grass on the bottom and some trees. So for that, I'm gonna use my bigger round brush for the ground. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is take my black paint and again, don't think too much and just add a line from here, make a nice little curve down, you know, and then add a line going up again, just like that. Okay, now I'm just gonna almost like, you know, fill everything on the bottom. And it's okay if you still see some black line, some purple and the blue lines. You don't have to hide it completely. Mostly gonna hide all the edges but not the middle area here. Okay, I'm also gonna touch my bottom of this house, so I wanna also cover that. Okay, I think I like that. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I want to add some grass or some, you know, so what I'm gonna do is for that I'm just gonna use this brush and just take a little paint on tip of my brush, and then I'm just gonna start from bottom and bring my paint up. So every time you make grass, always start from bottom and bring your paint up. So something like this, just random strokes starting from bottom going up, or also adding some lines that's not straight, you know, so something like this. Now I have some grass that are more taller, and I like to use a little bit of water for this part. So again, some grass that are kind of a little taller, like bigger, so something like this. I like to also do the same thing on the bottom here. I know I'm not gonna see it, but still. Okay, same thing on the other side. Okay, I like that. Now what I'm gonna do is add some trees. Okay, so for that I'm gonna use my small brush. So I'm gonna add some spooky trees. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is just use my black paint. Okay, and then start adding a tree trunk, a nice thick tree trunk. So I'm gonna add a nice big tree over here and smaller tree over here. So I'm gonna start maybe from bottom going up and maybe stop right there. I'm gonna make the bottom of my tree trunk more thicker, like that. You know how the trees are, right? And kind of make it a little wonkier because it's a spooky tree. Everything in this painting is spooky. Okay, nice and thick tree trunk. I'm gonna make this area also kind of a little bit more thicker. Okay, now I'm just gonna start adding some branches, but first I also want to make another line that is kind of little thicker, like this one. And another one, maybe it's going outside of my paper. Okay, all right, now we can start adding some branches. Now for the branches, again, I like to use some thin paint. So I'm gonna mix a little paint with some water, and I'm just gonna add some branches. So think of like you're making it's like a V. So I'm just gonna start from here and then going up. Now do you see a V here? Try to make a V, and you should be good. Okay, now you can make as many as you like. You don't have to make it all, you know, same size. Just keep adding your branches on your branches on your branches on your branches. The more you add, it's better because it's a spooky tree. Just gonna keep adding more and more here. I'm sorry, I cannot talk when I make branches. Now if you are not sure when to stop, I guess just stop. So maybe I'm gonna stop right here. Okay, so now I also want to add another tree on this area. This is gonna be slightly little smaller. Okay, so let's start adding this one tree. So maybe I'm gonna start maybe from here. So again, this is slightly little small one. You can add as many trees as you like. Okay, so this is all I'm gonna do. Now I also want to add some fence on the bottom of this house, so I'm gonna add some fence on this area. So let's say you don't have enough space here, you can add your fence on the other side too. That's okay. Okay, so I'm gonna add a fence maybe right here. So what I'm gonna do is add a vertical lines starting from here. Okay, and then I'm just gonna make it like slightly a little bit more taller, I guess. And then I'm just gonna add like a horizontal line right here. I also want to add some bats. So what I'm gonna do is add a shape that looks like this. So what I'm gonna do is, you know what, you can also practice on a piece of paper. So what I'm gonna do is maybe just, you know, think of this as the the body of that bird, that bat, and then start from here and then go up and out, up and out. So that's all I'm gonna do. So maybe I want to add some here. You can add as many as you like. It's a big family. Okay, so now I am gonna add some stars. So I'm gonna clean my brush and take some white paint and then, you know, kind of add some dots. I'm not gonna go too crazy, but just some. Okay, that's all I'm gonna do. Okay, so now I'm gonna do a couple more things. So first, I'm gonna kind of highlight some of the area on this spooky house so that, you know, you can see clearly the roof, the door, and some other things. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a slightly like a little gray color. So I already have this black here. I'm just gonna add a little white. And here I have nice light gray color. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go on this roof first and kind of let me make it a little bit more lighter so you can see it. That's better. Okay, so I'm just gonna, you know, add a line over here, and also down here. So, you know, now you can see the roof. I want to add a little bit more water on my paint. Okay, same thing for all of the roof I have. Doesn't have to be a perfect straight line. It's okay if you know, it's kind of breaking in middle like this. I'm also gonna separate these two areas. I'm gonna add a line right here and here. You can just follow me wherever I'm adding my line. Now let's say if you don't like any line, don't worry, clean your brush, grab a black paint and go over the line you don't like. Okay, and then clean again, grab that gray color. Make sure you don't take too much water when you are painting on a wet paint, and then add your line wherever you like. Okay, so this is all I'm gonna do. Now I also want to add some a pathway, you can say, maybe. So what I'm gonna do is make a little gray color one more time. So little black, little white, and I'm also gonna add a little bit of blue. Okay, not too much, or maybe too much. I don't know. Okay, And then I am gonna add a line starting from here, a little nice and curvy line like that. So as this line is coming to us, it's gonna be slightly a little bit more wider. Like that. It's not perfect. We don't have to make anything perfect, okay? I'm just gonna repeat myself because that's the truth. And you know. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is add some pumpkin, and that's the last thing I'm gonna do. So for the pumpkin, I'm gonna use some orange. So let me grab some orange and a little bit of yellow. Okay, so I'm gonna use two more color, orange and yellow. So this pumpkin are super easy. So what I'm gonna do is clean my brush. Now I don't want to use just a regular orange here, because do you see this area is darker, and whenever we apply just a regular orange, it's not gonna pop out. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mix the white and orange together. Now this is the color is gonna pop out more. Okay, so every time if your color is not just for this painting but any painting, it's kind of a little lighter and it's not, you don't see it clearly, grab a little white and mix it with that color. Just a little bit of white is good enough, and you'll see a big difference, trust me. Okay, so now I'm gonna add like two pumpkins. So I'm gonna add a big pumpkin here, a small one here. So I'm gonna add a nice big long pumpkin, and it's almost like kind of oval shape but a little wider one. And I'm gonna add another line over here. I'm just gonna fill everything inside. Okay, I'm gonna add another pumpkin next to that, which is slightly a little bit like a round shape. Okay, so now I'm gonna use just a regular orange on top of this to shape them a little bit. Now, you know how the pumpkin looks like, right? So I'm just gonna add a line here and a couple more lines going here. Same thing on here. Okay, now I'm gonna add a kind of a little stem. I'm gonna clean my brush, and I'm gonna use like a kind of a gray color here. So white, a little bit of black, and I'm also gonna add a little bit of orange here. So I made my own brown, but you can also use just a regular brown you have available. So I'm just gonna add a line. That looks cute. Okay, so now I'm gonna use this darker kind of a little brown color. I'm just gonna add a little bit more orange here to make it more brown. Okay, so now I'm also gonna use this color and add some line inside on my pumpkin, I mean, so something like this. Same thing for this one. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is I wanna add a face, a spooky face. So what I'm gonna do is again, same thing. I'm gonna mix white and yellow together. Okay, so I'm gonna add a face for my little pumpkin. It's gonna be nice little round for the eyes. This is kind of a little cute one. Little nose. I hope you can see that now. Okay, now some nice big teeth. So something like this. I know it's hard to see what I'm doing here, but just very spooky big teeth. I know it's not too yellow, but trust the process. And I'm gonna do the same thing for this big one, and for this one the eyes are kind of a little long. And the teeth gonna be more longer. What I'm gonna do is clean my brush and just use regular yellow on top of this color. Now I know you're gonna ask, why didn't I just use plain yellow at first place? Only because if you also try just using regular yellow, it's not gonna pop out more. So if you do it this way, it's just gonna be a lot more easier. I think I like this. I'm just gonna go over one more area where I want to make my pumpkin, you know, a little bit more wider, more bigger. So on this edge. Okay, I think here I'm all done with this painting. So let me start peeling my tape and see how it turned out. I really like it. I'm all done. Again, let me know what you think about this painting, and thank you so much for painting with me. I hope you guys all enjoy and have fun painting with me. Now whenever you paint something and whenever you're done, make sure you sign your painting, right? So you can either use your paint and brush or maybe a Sharpie, but I'm just gonna use my paint and my brush, and then I'm just gonna, you know, sign my name here. So let me do this. Every time I paint, I also sign and with my sign, I like to make a little smiley face. It's not perfect, but it's cute. All right, so thank you so much guys again for painting with me. I hope you guys all have fun, and I will see you next time whenever we paint again together. All right, so take care and thank you so much, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you want to paint step-by-step painting like this one. And make sure you like this video if you give a big thumbs up if you like this video. All right, thank you, bye.